The mess tent became my domain, my station, my temple. At first I really tried to make something of that miserable starch. I treated it like a challenge. Tried every technique I knew. Added water, dried it out, mixed in whatever local vegetation wouldn't poison us. Heated it, cooled it, mashed it, fried it. It was still shit. The men ate it because they had to. Choked it down with water and cursed the administratum and the Imperium and the Emperor himself. Their faces grew hollow. Their movements sluggish. Not just hungry, defeated. I'd seen that look before. In the sumps, when the rations ran short. When families started eyeing each other with calculation instead of love. That look that said, we're going to die here slowly, miserably, and there's nothing we can do about it. My boys deserved better. When did they become my boys? When did I start caring? But I did care. These men, these poor bastards, who'd been dragged from their homes and thrown into the Emperor's meat grinder, they fought when ordered. They died when required. They followed orders, even when those orders were suicide. They deserved one last kindness, one last good meal. That's when I realized the Emperor had given me a gift. I crush out the law stick and pick up my knife again, testing the edge. Because in war, friend, there's never a shortage of meat. His name was Jarek. I asked before he died. The prisoner had been brought in 3 days before the rations ran out completely. Enemy combatant, the report said. Heretic traitor. He'd lost both legs to a mine, and the field medic overworked, undersupplied, exhausted, pulled me aside. He won't last the week, the medic whispered. We don't have the antibiotics, don't have the surgical supplies. He's just taking up space and screaming. Emperor, the screaming. Even now, I hear it sometimes. The first was a prisoner, much like yourself, I tell my current guest. Poor lad had lost both his legs. The medic said he wouldn't last the week. I asked him about his home, about his family. He told me about his sister, about the farm they'd grown up on before the heretics came. He cried when he talked about her. I gave him extra painkillers that night. Made sure he went peacefully. Resupply had been overdue by a month. The boys were beginning to starve. Well, waste not, want not, and Master Kral's words. Always Master Kral's words, justifying what came next. I worked through the night in a corner of the tent. My old skills returning like muscle memory, clean cuts. Minimal waste, professional. The uniform burned easily enough. The bones went into the waste pile. The meat went into the stew. That night, I made the officers a stew. Rich, dark, and nourishing. I'd prepared it like I was feeding Papa on his name day. Proper spices from my personal stash. Vegetables from the officers' rations. Cooked low and slow until the meat fell apart and the broth went. Thick and savory. Art. Pure art. The officers gathered in their tent, exhausted from 3 straight days of combat. Captain Rothman, Lieutenant Vess, Commissar Volk himself. All of them gaunt, desperate, running on fumes and faith. I served them personally, ladled the stew into their bowls, watched their eyes widen at the smell. Emperor's mercy, Lieutenant Vess breathed. What is this? Mad with hunger, they devoured it. They didn't just eat it. They savored it, closed their eyes and made sounds of genuine pleasure. Captain Rothman had tears in his eyes. I'd made them happy. I'd given them something good in this hell. Commissar Volk finished first, scraping his bowl clean, then looked up at me. Really looked at me for the first time since I'd joined the unit. This is the finest meal I've had since leaving the core worlds, he said. His voice was different, softer, almost human. I suspect that was probably the starvation talking. It wasn't. I'm a good cook. Always have been. He took me aside. Where did you find this delicacy? He asked. I can still see his face in the lamplight. That mixture of suspicion and desperate hope. I smiled and told him, "Special cut, sir. Cold storage. Just making use of what the Emperor provides. We didn't have cold storage." We both knew that. The silence stretched between us. In that moment, I saw his calculation. His choice. Turn me in for what I'd obviously done, lose his best meal in months, lose the morale boost his officers desperately needed. Dor looked the other way. To my surprise, he laughed. A nervous laugh that gave way to deep, raucous hysteria. The laugh of a man whose sanity had frayed long before I served him human flesh. The laugh of a man who'd already made compromises with his soul. Resourceful chap. I admire that. "Just keep it coming, Filch. There's a good lad." And just like that, I had permission. Sanctioned by the commissariat itself. From then on, I had free reign of the stockades, so long as I put fresh meat on the table. Ow. It should have felt wrong. Should have kept me awake at night. Should have haunted me. Instead, it felt like coming home. The work was familiar. Comforting, even. Each body that came to me prisoner, casualty, unfortunate accident, was a puzzle to solve, a resource to optimize. I fell back into old rhythms, old techniques, clean cuts, minimal waste, professional standards. I developed a system. The dying and the doomed went first like Jarek. They'd agreed to it in a way, hadn't they? Then the enemy dead, recovered from the battlefield. Then the prisoners, the ones sentenced to execution anyway. I wasn't killing them. I was just processing them, making sure they served the Emperor one last time. No more corpse starch. Just good, honest, fresh meat. The change in the men was remarkable. Subtle at first, better color in their faces. More energy on patrol. Then more obvious. Faster recovery from wounds. Better performance in combat drills. Higher spirits. They were thriving. And slowly but surely my boys got back into fighting shape, carrying the souls of dead men in their bellies. I told myself it was poetic, that the enemy's strength became ours, that I was performing a service, sacred recycling of resources in the Emperor's name. I told myself I was a good person doing necessary things. Commissar Volk showed me the reports one evening, spreading them across his desk with something like pride. The numbers don't lie, lad. Combat effectiveness is up. Morale is up. We're fighting harder, recuperating quicker. He knew. They all knew, on some level. But we'd all agreed not to speak it aloud. It's amazing the difference a proper meal will make. Yes, amazing. That's one word for it. I turned back to the prisoner, seeing my reflection in his terrified eyes. "Oh, don't cry, lad. You've been very brave." "Have you, though? Have you been brave, or just paralyzed with fear? Was I brave that first night with Jarek? Or was I just hungry? You ought to cheer up. Tonight is going to be something special. It's a harvest festival. It's a real holy day, sanctioned by the ecclesiarchy, a day to give thanks for the Emperor's bounty. The irony would be funny if I could still feel humor about such things. Can I? Feel humor, I mean? Feel anything beyond this constant, gnawing need to feed my boys, to keep them strong, to keep them alive. The boys are celebrating. You see, it's a festival. Good, honest harvest festival. Honest. That word keeps coming up, doesn't it? Honest work. Honest meal. Honest harvest. When did I stop knowing what that word meant? Commissar Volk has requested something extraordinary for the officers, and you, friend, have one last contribution to make. I begin my preparations, hands steady, movements practiced. The prisoner thrashes against his bonds. They always do at the end, as if fighting matters, as if the universe cares about individual will. Papa taught me that the universe doesn't care. Master Crawl taught me that death comes to everyone. The guard taught me that life is cheap. I taught myself that at least death can be useful. I've been saving the best till last. It will be a feast. Tonight, they're going to eat like planetary governors, and they will. I'll make sure of it. Proper spices, proper preparation. This one is young, healthy, despite the interrogation. The meat will be tender, all thanks to you. A coward that tried to sell out these good lads to your dirty heretic gods. Is that true? Did he betray us? Or did we just need him to have betrayed us? Does it matter anymore? Rather poetic, I'd say. But all is forgiven, lad. Forgiven? By who? The Emperor? Me. Can I forgive myself? I can't speak for the Emperor, but I'd say he might wipe your slate clean for this. Your body will nourish his warriors, and your soul will give them strength for the battles ahead. I raise my knife, watching the lamplight play along its edge. This is who I am now. Not the boy Papa raised. Not the professional master crawl trained. Not even the desperate man who ate that first piece. I'm the cook. The provider. It's the one who keeps my boys alive. See, I'm not like those drooling lunatics grinding corpses. Aren't I, though? Aren't I exactly like them? Or even because I convinced myself this was noble? I'm doing this for my boys.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor. Words we all use to justify what we've become. But if I stop no F, I refuse my boys go back to corpse starch, go back to starving, go back to dying in greater numbers because they're weak and malnourished. I can't let that happen. Won't let that happen. Now then, I'd love to keep chatting, but the festival starts in 12 hours. I've got to get that marinade started. I wonder, sometimes in the moments before sleep takes me, if this is what damnation feels like. Not fire and torture, but comfort, purpose, the satisfaction of a job well done. Hold still, lad. Papa would weep if he could see me now. Master Crawl would say I'd maintained my professional standards. The Emperor. The Emperor is silent, as always. This is going to hurt a bit, for both of us, lad. For both of us. In a crowded mess hall, the 482nd celebrates their harvest festival. The men laugh and eat and drink. Commissar Volk leads a toast to the fallen, his voice strong and clear, no hint of what he knows. The officers feast at their special table, the meat tender and perfectly prepared. They're happy. My boys are happy. I stand in the doorway of the mess tent, watching them. These men who would die for each other, who fight and bleed for the Emperor, who trust me to feed them. Do they know? Do they suspect? Does it matter? Private Heron catches my eye and raises his mug in salute. Best meal yet, Filch. Emperor bless you. The Emperor protects, they say. I nod back, managing a smile. But who protects us from ourselves? The festival continues. There is laughter, there is life, and there is joy, however brief, however paid for in blood and sin. And tomorrow, there will be war and casualties, and more meat, and I will do my duty, as I always have, as I always will. Because in the grim darkness of the far future, survival is the only virtue that matters, and I help my boys survive. The Emperor protects, I whisper, touching the Aquila around my neck, but I'm the one who feeds them.